Alrighty. So I'll go through just a quick overview again here, and then we'll go ahead and get started. So happy to be walking you through our latest feature called Icons. Throughout this webinar, we do have closed captions available. If you would like to enable that, you can do so at the bottom of your screen or of your Zoom window um, in that navigation bar. That's also where you'll find the Q&A function. If at any point you have questions, we do have other members of our team standing by to answer those questions for you. And if you don't think of your questions until after the webinar, please reach out to our team in app. And Final thing that I will mention today is if at any point you need to drop off or just want to review at a later date, we will be sending the recording of this around to everyone. So without further ado, let's dive into our icons feature. So just a quick overview of what we're going to be going over today. I'll be doing a quick demo and just walking through some of the various use cases in different industries that you can apply these to, and going over a few FAQs and highlighting our smart campaigns, which we're particularly excited about. And towards the end, we'll also do a quick roundup as well on some of the other upgrades that we have implemented and are getting ready to implement soon. So just to kick it off, sort of what are icons? I hope many of you have already had a chance to play around with this feature a little bit. They are really the ability to attach a tag or a label to a record in PocketSuite. So a record can be anything from your client or sub account, whether that's a pet or a child, or directly onto a booking, a package, so on and so forth. And it lets you really understand that critical information about that booking or about that client sort of right when you need it without having to drill in. And so we'll go over some of the nuances of the feature during the demo, but just at a high level, it's really giving you access to the information that matters most to you. A lot of times, we are surfacing information on dashboards that we know are applicable to everyone, but every business is different. And so this feature is really aimed at giving you control over the information that you want to surface for you and your employees, for your specific industry, geography, and client base. All of those have different nuances that really do matter on the day-to-day operations. And this feature helps you kind of build workflows around those. So with that being said, I'm going to jump in here to a quick demo. So I'm going to stop my screen share and switch that over. Alrighty, so here I have pulled up my a side-by-side view of the mobile app on the right-hand side and the desktop site on the left. And I'll be trying to switch back and forth between those. So looking here at the client list and here at the message thread, as you may have noticed, we recently did add some updates to our Messenger feature. If you missed that webinar, we'd be happy to send over the recording to you if you did not receive it. This in and of itself could have its own webinar, so I won't dive into all the details there, but especially if you're one of the pros who's been looking forward to the ability to send videos or audio messages, things like that, would definitely recommend checking that out. Um, but again, the focus of today's webinar is really on icons. So you can see here a couple of examples where you're seeing different sub accounts and clients marked with different icons. Um, Again, as I mentioned a moment ago, this is at its core a feature meant to give you the flexibility to surface the information that is important to you. And I've provided some examples that will help illustrate some of the ways that you might be able to do that. But again, what's really important as you are setting this up is to ask yourself, what is the most important for me to know in my business? And as you're building out your icons, that's kind of what you want to center your thinking around. So I'm actually going to start with the setup. And I'll call out that this is in a pet resort demo account that we have, but this is extremely applicable to any industry. I'll be trying to call those out throughout the uh, webinar, and if you have industry-specific questions, again, encourage you to use that Q&A. So you'll find icons right near the top of your settings list. And in here, I've added a number of icons already. Many of these are tied to the sub account. In this case, that's the pet. In other industry editions, that would be the relative or child, or maybe a vehicle if you're a mobile detailer. So, here, for example, these are some important pieces of information that you would want to know about a dog while it's boarding at your facility. Maybe another example, again, to use that mobile detailer illustration, is using icons to signify different makes and models of vehicles or different conditions that those might be in. Um, and likewise, if you are, let's say, a beauty pro or a fitness pro, you can use icons to indicate what certain clients are, really hoping to work on. What are their goals? What are their favorite types um, of services, so you know how best to serve them. I've added a couple of kind of generic examples down here as well. VIP client is one. Always are thinking about how you can best serve your highest value clients, and also wanting to just know and keep track of who those folks are. Um, Another example here is do not book. I know many of you likely have those clients that come in or are calling in over and over, asking to book that, for one reason or another, you just do not want them to um, be put on your calendar, and you need your team to know that. And also wanting to tag new clients. And I'll go into some of the setup of these in a minute as well. So here's just a brief overview of kind of what that list looks like. So I'm going to walk through adding an icon here. In many industries, we do have some defaults, and we're working on adding more defaults into additional industries. And would very much love to hear suggestions for defaults in your industry if you have them. So I'm going to go in here and just walk through setting up an icon. There are really only two pieces of information that are absolutely required. Um, the first one, um, the first one is the name. So the name is kind of what you want the label uh, for that icon to be as you see it throughout different areas of PocketSuite. So, for example, um, I am going to just use a simple example um, of repeat customer. And then the other piece as well to add in here is your icon itself. So we have thousands of icons that you can choose from. Um, and they are all supported with keyword search to help you find the best one that suits your needs. But I'm just going to choose one here, um, and then go ahead and give this a color. So I will say that this is um, choose this blue. And then I can choose the record. So I'm going to pause here to explain part of how this will work, and you will see this in action in a moment. There are kind of two types of icons. The first is just a manual icon. So I could go ahead and just save this right here. It'll be added to my list. And with this setup, where I have done nothing but give it a name and a color to associate with the icon, I can then go to any record and add that icon. So, for example, if I come over to my uh, client list, I can click edit icons and I can give this icon manually to that client. Um, Now, the other option is to use triggers. So what's important to keep in mind is that triggers are can only be used, or sorry, cannot be used when you are also applying an icon manually. So you either have to choose to have the icon be triggered off of a field or to be able to set it manually, but you can't choose both. And the reason for that is because, as you are introducing this feature to your team members and trying to set definitions of different icons. If you have some icons being surfaced because of something like, in this example, the created date of the client, and you're also having team members just randomly put that icon onto a different client, it's going to cause confusion. So you either have to have it be triggered or just set it manually. So what is a trigger, you might be asking? Really, it is a way to surface an icon based on some piece of information on the record that you want to tie it to. So for example, this one here is new client. Um, that is going to be on my client record. And you can see here that there are quite a number of different records to choose from, and including different forms. So you can even have certain icons appear just on a given form. But for this example, I've chosen the client. And then there's a number of different events that you can have trigger this. So in this example, I've chosen created date, and then the created in the last 30 days. So that means anytime a new client is added to my client list, um, it would be tagged with this icon. But let's say that, I'm getting clients pretty regularly and I want to know who my new clients are, but I don't necessarily want to see this icon for the whole 30 days. Um, uh, so then what I'm going to do is um, add a second trigger. So you can add up to 3 triggers at a time. So again, keep in mind, right now, this is going to surface for anyone who's added in the last 30 days. And then I want to say, but only if that client um, has never booked me before. Um, so then I'm going to come in here and I'm going to choose first booking date. And then I'm going to choose empty. That just means they have no first booking date. So now both of these conditions have to be met in order to uh, for this icon to appear. So not only does the client need to be created in the last 30 days, they also need to not have any bookings. So this is just one example of really how powerful this feature can be for building out a system of tagging your clients and all of the various records that you might have in PocketSuite. I just want to go through a couple of other examples. Um, so in this case, I've chosen the booking. Um, Important to keep in mind as well, this would appear only on one specific appointment. It's not going to appear on every client. You would really need to choose client for that. Um, and I can choose from any of my booking fields, um, or I can choose, things like has tax, has a discount, has even a specific team member, or is in a specific resource, um, or is even part of a specific package. So I can say, okay, if this booking is um, being used as part of a 5-pack daycare, I want to have this specific icon appear on that booking. So again, there are really near infinite combinations that you could set up with these icons, and would really encourage you to kind of think through what the information you want to understand about your clients, your bookings, and your other records is, and then kind of work from there to get this set up. And we have resources for you as well to help you with that process. And I'll speak to that in a little bit as well. Um, so before we leave the settings, there's one final thing worth noting, and that is the sort order. So because space is limited across the app, there are a few different ways that you might see your icons. So whenever you're viewing something in the uh, this sort of aggregate setting, meaning that you're seeing multiple clients, multiple records all in one place. This includes your client list. It would include the calendar. Here's a view of the resource calendar. You can also see this on, the agenda view. And this also again applies to any dashboards, and I'll show some mobile examples here as well. Um, in any of these cases, the maximum number of icons that you'll see for a given record is 5 icons. Um, and that is a a combined 5 across the client, the sub account, and the booking or other record itself. So, for example, you can see here on this booking request for Scout, there are 4 icons. This purple icon, we know that that is our VIP client because Abigail is a VIP client. Um, um, and these other icons are tied to um, the actual pet on the booking. And I can even add an icon um, to the booking itself. I'm going to do this just to illustrate the point. So now this is an icon, on the booking itself, and then these are icons that appear tied to the clients or to the dog or the sub account. Um, and so going back to the settings, why is this like top 5 so important? Because it's important to think about how you sort these, because the the icons that are going to be prioritized to show in this top 5 grouping are your top sorted icons here. Um, So for example, if I say that repeat customer is really important, and I want that to always show no matter where I see a record by that client, I'm going to sort that one at the top. And that's why you would have seen this expired vaccine, because given that this is a pet resort, that's the most important information that you could know about that client. Maybe if you're a beauty pro, an example would be an allergy field. You need to know no matter what, if someone is allergic to a product you regularly use, sort that icon at the top because that's the most important thing that you or any of your team members could need to know, no matter if you're looking at the calendar, um, the dashboards, so on and so forth. Um, and so again, just to kind of show some examples of how this appears throughout the app, you'll again see these icons on all of your different records. You can tap or um, um, on desktop, you can just hover to see the details. And this will also show you for those that are triggered, um, what the actual trigger event is. So in this case, there are no vaccines, and that's why this one appears. So this also gives your team members who could be in training or are otherwise getting used to the system to help them understand kind of what these icons mean so that it's not just a symbol without context. Um, you'll see these on your calendar on mobile as well. Um, and really we have tried to integrate this fully throughout all of the different areas of the app. Um, so that you're not ever left wondering, you know, does this client or this booking or this package have an icon associated with it or not? Um, the final piece that I want to note, as far as functionality, is with smart campaigns. So um, for those of you familiar with the smart campaigns feature, these are trigger based uh, SMS campaigns that can be sent to clients based on various different criteria, such as whether it's their birthday, whether they have had a certain um, um, type of booking in the past, renewing and expired packages, et cetera, et cetera. Um, and these smart campaigns can now work with icons as well. So let me go ahead and give you an example. Um, if I come into the send after appointment, let's say that the um, let's say that I want to create a message that encourages uh, my first time clients to uh, book with me again. So I can come in here and say uh, first time client retention, just to give this a quick label. I'll look at this message. Um, I'll just say that this default is good for now for the sake of time. I'll give them a little bit of a discount. And then I want to apply this both to a specific item. So I can say, only for the people who have, um, let's say, booked these baths, or it might be if you are in um, a beauty industry that you want to apply this to tailor different messages to different types of services or even to different providers. And then you can apply this to icons as well. So you're not only saying these specific services, but you're saying also only send this to people who are tagged as my new clients. So that way you've gone from anyone who might book this set of services to now only targeting those services for that specific group of clients. So again, you can really start to piece together how uh, foundational kind of your decisions around which icons to have triggered by different fields, which icons to set manually, and sort of what are your workflows around that. Because you can really streamline a lot of automation to segment different marketing campaigns and outreach. And you can even use this as well for purposes outside of marketing. So, for example, if I were to say, uh, I want to send as a prep for appointment, and I only want to send this to um, uh, anyone that I have that has no vaccines on file. Um, you can use that icon to set up that smart campaign. Um, So again, a lot of powerful options here within the smart campaigns to use icons as well. And the final piece that I will mention is uh, that I think one of my favorite ways to utilize these is to rely on the client and other custom fields. Um, uh, if you haven't set many of these fields up or are not quite sure how to use them, I would recommend checking out our Suite Center article on the subject. But these custom fields are a very powerful component of the PocketSuite system because they are surfaced at the timely entry points into your business by your clients. And you can customize them for when someone is booking uh, and making sure that you're also capturing them when they're confirming appointments. You can have ones that specifically show up just for packages and non-bookables. And these custom fields can then be used once they're filled in by clients to then drive the icons, really automating your entire intake process to be able to say, if you care about a given attribute, again, I'll go back to the make and model of the car. We can just walk through an example of that here. Unfortunately, again, take into account this is a pet account, but I'm going to pretend that this is a mobile detailer account. So we can say um, um, car model, and then I'll go ahead and um, have some choices in here. Um, uh, I'm just going to give a few random examples um, just to illustrate the point. I'll add this to the sub account and I want this to appear during my booking checkout. Save that and then go create an icon for it so that as soon as anyone with that particular brand uh, of car comes in, I'll be able to see that right on um, right on my list. So again, this is just one example of how you could customize this, and you could even drive this further into then driving a smart campaign for, say, a particular detailing package off of this. So with all that being said, I do want to return over to the deck as I have a few additional slides to share that walk through some examples, among other things. So again, here are a few of the different examples, and this deck will be included for everyone in addition to the recording. But here are just a few of the example icons that you could look at using for different businesses. Um, and again, these can be ones that you manually set. They can be based on those custom fields. They can be driven entirely by different triggers that are kind of system driven fields, like when was something created or edited, or which team member created it, things like that. And again, would also encourage you to reach out to us if there are additional triggers that you would like to see here. We're always looking for feedback on how we can increase the applicability of this feature to more pros in more industries. So just to go over a couple of FAQs, the first is, do you need a trigger or not? Um, again, you can absolutely set them manually. Um, you can use them on any record or specify a given record. Just note that you can't have a trigger and also set that icon manually. That's the one trade-off that you do have to make. Um, and there are a lot of trigger options. How do I know which one I need? I've mentioned this a couple of times, but again, I would recommend taking a step back to what are the questions about your business that you want to answer. From there, build out kind of your list of uh, a winnowed down version of what does my team really need to see at a glance throughout the day when I'm busy with my clients in between appointments and getting ready for the next one. Um, and then from there, you can work on building your list kind of record by record. And note that, as everything, whether it's an invoice or a booking or a package, is going to have a client. So anything that's tied to the client record is going to appear on all of those records it's associated with. But if it is a booking, it's only going to appear on one specific booking or one booking that has that trigger. So again, it really comes down to what the information that you and your team need to operate successfully. So again, just want to call out the smart campaigns. There are so many different applications to using icons with your smart campaigns. Uh, whether it is again to target those specific audiences of new clients, even by lead source, or to make sure that certain clients show up prepared to their lessons. Maybe you tag those clients who are chronically late to their workout class to get an extra smart campaign before they have their next appointment to make sure that they show up. All of those things are possible with having icons in smart campaigns. And if you're a little bit too busy to get this set up, we've got you covered. We have an automation pack that we'd recommend you check out. You can scan the QR code here, and you'll have an opportunity to meet with a PocketSuite growth expert to get set up using smart campaigns and icons to meet your your business needs. So quickly before we wrap up here, and again, if you have questions, I would recommend putting those into the Q&A, and our team will continue answering those. But I just wanted to highlight a few upcoming upgrades and recent releases as well. As you may have noticed, we've been adding a lot to our desktop site, most recently the leaderboard and the online booking. Also, again, our resource calendar and resource optimizations for those on the facility plan, as well as our run and resource cards and Messenger 2.0, which includes video and audio. All of those came out towards the end of April and beginning of May. If you missed those webinars, would definitely recommend checking those out if you're interested. And we do have a few additional features coming on desktop in the next couple of weeks. Smart Campaigns actually was just recently released. We have leads and reviews. Not listed here is our online order feature. And then we also are getting ready to launch PocketSuite Capital, which is coming soon for those eligible. So keep an eye out for that as well. So if you are already a white glove service pro, we want to just take a second to say thank you. We recommend you reach out to your account manager to get the icons and smart campaigns features set up and optimized for your business and your team. And if you aren't a white glove service member, but having that sort of support to, not only get set up, but help you answer the questions of, how should I set this up? What are my optimal workflows? Would recommend you check out our white glove service offerings. Or if you feel like you're pretty set on all the rest of the PocketSuite features and just want to drill in on icons, we do have fast features available for this as well. And finally, as all of you as business owners know, 5-star reviews are incredibly important, and they're incredibly important to us as well. So if this webinar was helpful for you, or you've been finding PocketSuite useful in your day-to-day, we do ask that you would give us a 5-star rating in the app or Google review, Google Play Store reviews. And if you haven't already, we recommend setting up our Google Reviews feature to let us help you get some more 5-star reviews as well. With that being said, I want to thank you all for coming this evening. If you have questions about icons or any other features, please let us know in the Q&A. And you can follow up with us in the PocketSuite support thread as well. And if you have, again, additional feedback on triggers or other applications of icons, or if you would like to be spotlighted on PocketSuite social media, on our website, or maybe you don't care about any of that, but you just want to let us know how you're using the icons feature, we would love to hear it, to dig in on really understanding the many ways in which you're able to use this powerful feature for good in your business. So with that being said, thank you all for joining, and have a great evening.